Hello, good day and welcome to Farm to Export. This is the third series in the free empowerment series that we've been having for some time now. And next week, starting from the fourth series, we are going to be discussing geographical areas of the country. We are going to be looking at the export opportunities in southwest, south-south, southeast, and the northern parts of the country. So for today, we are going to be discussing mini exporting, sourcing mapping for buyers, fulfilling client orders after, and digital marketing strategies for buyer engagement for we farmers. And I'm just going to go into the recap of our previous class from the Farm to Export 2. So in our previous class, we discussed air freight logistics and everything that is involved. So I explained that air freight logistics is, using the airplane, air cargo, to send your product from Nigeria to other countries. And for every state in Nigeria, at least most states have an international airport, even though they are not as busy as Lagos, but you can still make use of them in shipping your item. And you might have to just move them to the location where you know that you get the required service or the type of service that you want for your shipment, for you to be able to send your product out. The air freight is fast, air freight is simple, even though it's more expensive than sea freight, but it is fast. It can get the products down to the buyer within few days, within 2-3 days. So that's why it's used mostly. And then through air freight, you can send any amount like volume or quantity of product that you want, like if it's 1 kilogram, 5 kilogram, 10 kilogram, because through sea freight you can't do that. There's at least a particular minimum quantity of products that you can send through a container, else you just be wasting the space and wasting money also. So vegetables for export, we spoke about vegetables for export, the different vegetables you can export, leafy vegetables, the spices, the pepper and all that, that you can actually plant in your backyard, you can plant on your farm, and you can process and package them for export. And we also looked at the other products that you can export in the agricultural commodities, the metals, uh, the forestry products, livestock and meat, and other things that are also exportable, but we limited this class to agricultural and livestock and meat because that's actually what we are focusing on for farmers and understanding packaging for sea freight and air freight. So we spoke about the packaging because we know that when we are exporting through sea freight, the time we spend a lot of time to export through sea freight. Take it could take 2 months, for a shipment before a shipment gets to the buyer destination. Meanwhile, for air freight, it could just take you maybe 2 days for it to get there. So because of that, how you package the products for the two different freights is different. For the sea freight, you package it so that it won't spoil. You package it for preservation. You understand? But for air freight, you might not as much as package it the way you package the sea freight because you know that within a week it's already with who ordered for it. So we also looked at pricing and logistics, like how much are you supposed to sell, how you are going to ship the product, if and also how you are going to make profit on what you are selling, so that you don't just give a price that you are making losses from. So it has to also be a price that you are actually making profit from when you are exporting. So how do you calculate your pricing? Uh, you know, so how much have you spent, have you invested from production to harvest? And after harvesting, you have to bring everything together, the process, you have to do your calculation, then divide it into the number of kilograms that you have, then you know how much you are going to be selling per kilogram, then you can say, okay, it's 10,000 naira, 50,000 naira, 1 million naira a kilogram. And with that, you can now know, okay, how much you are making as profit, how much you are going to make in total. Are you able to recover your investment, and all that? So all this is very important. Then we also talk about the logistics process, how you make your shipment happen, going to the airport, relating with the air freight agent, NACO agent, SACO agent. Where are you actually sending it from? Are you based in Lagos? Is your farm in Ogun State? Is it in Kaduna? Is it in Enugu? All these areas. So we looked at then sourcing export buyers. How do you source export buyers? How do you make sure that you create the necessary structure that will help you to source for export buyers? So that's also something. Now, understanding mini exporting. In the first series of farm to export, we defined exporting as a term of international trade, which means selling an item or moving an item, from one country to another, and collecting the currency of the buying country in exchange for the product. That's export, because when you export, you don't export for your local currency, you export for the foreign currency, usually the currency of the buying country. But according to the international standard or international arrangement, we usually use USD, which is the United States dollars, for the currency that should be paid when you are exporting, because everyone understands the USD and everyone can just quickly convert USD into their local currency. So the international trade agreement is the United States dollar. So mini exporting is when you ship products or items in bits. When it's not large scale, like you filling up a 20-feet container or a 40-feet container. When you have just 1 kilogram, uh, you know, 5 kilogram goods. So if you are shipping anything on air freight, between 1 kilogram to 1 ton, you are still that's still mini exporting, because if you are to fill up a 40-feet container, for instance, you have to have about 25 to 30 tons of commodity. But since you might not have to start at that level or at that volume, you can just ship whatever you have bit by bit through mini export, by engaging in mini exporting, which allows you to export little by little. So you can export your food through this. You can export anything as mini export through this form of mini exporting. It could be your fashion material, it could be books, it could be art, it could be anything. So it's not just food alone. When we say mini exporting, we are not just talking about food alone. It can be anything. I wrote a book on mini exporting because there are several questions that has been asked uh, since we started the farm to export lecture series, from the first one to the second one. So some of these questions, especially for those of us who are living very far away from Lagos, and we are looking at, okay, how can we tap into this opportunity even without living in Lagos? How can we still um, make use of logistics or whatever that we have? So I wrote this book some times ago, and it was published of recent. A to Z of mini exporting, how to build a multi-million dollar empire exporting foodstuffs. So trust me, I've been in the industry for some time now when it comes to food stuff, which is something that I do weekly, even though I have other commodities and other things I export, but when it comes to food, I do that every week. So there's a particular volume that we are exporting right now, and we are still working to increase that volume too. So this book, I believe, will help you uh, with your knowledge, with most of your questions when it comes to mini exporting, because I explained everything and I really broke down all the systems and processes that you need. So even if you are living in Abia State, if you are living in Maiduguri, if you are living in Niger, if you are living far away, once you have this book and you read through it, it can set up your business for you. It can help you with your structure. It can help you to know which button to press, who to call, who to contact, So even around you in your own state, you will still know what to do and how to go about it. And buyer sourcing mapping. One thing about buyer sourcing, like always say since we started farm to export, is that getting buyers for your export is a day-to-day job, is a daily work. It's not something that you think you just start or that you won't do at all. Then one day you just come forward that you need buyers. Buyers won't come just like it's a magic. So buyer sourcing is an everyday activity, just like everything concerning marketing. You have to show consistency, convince prospects that you are ready to do business. So there is a level of consistency that you show in the business, and people from the United States start to send you message. People from Canada, people from the United Kingdom start to send you message, start to talk to you, requesting for catfish, requesting for crayfish, requesting for spices, requesting for beans, for whatever thing that they need over there. So how do you get buyers? You get buyers through two different means. You get them through online means and offline means. I'm going to be explaining them one after the other. Through the offline means, you usually get buyers through word of mouth marketing, by talking, chatting up your friends who are not in Nigeria anymore. When you are actually looking at exporting foodstuffs, you are not looking at exporting to your friends in the country. You are looking at exporting to people who have left the country, your friends who are no longer in Nigeria, your friends who have left Nigeria to other countries like Kenya, like Ghana, like South Africa, Seychelles, Namibia, Tanzania, the United States, the United Kingdom, uh, Estonia, Finland, Poland, Italy, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, to all these countries around the world, China, India, Malaysia, Turkey, they all have Nigeria. So these Nigerians, they want to buy from us. They are looking for who they can trust, who they can depend on, who can supply them their need, their daily need, their day-to-day need, their food, some things that maybe they can't afford over there and they want to buy from here, or maybe they look at it that, okay, let me save cost and have someone send it to me. Or maybe they have a party coming up or something coming up and they need to buy, one or two things from Nigeria. Who are they going to talk to? So you can start chatting all your old friends, people you know that have traveled out of the country. Then secondly, through referrals. Referrals is mostly done when you have serviced a client to satisfaction. Maybe the client is in the US, Canada, UK, or somewhere. Then the client asks you to supply him or her with maybe cow skin, more, or maybe low cost beans, or maybe something, and the client was really happy, and he or she starts to refer you to other Nigerians and Africans in the diaspora, and they also start doing business with you. Then traditional advertising like magazine, radio, and television, which you can do over there in the country that you're actually targeting to start exporting to. So you must have some countries at the back of your mind that you also like to export to, that you also like to ship to. So you can do traditional advertising in this type of country. Then expos and conferences are also a great way for you to source for buyers offline. Expos and conferences where you can actually showcase your product, where you can actually meet other people and connect and network. You can go there with your samples of your product, of your items, and let them see, and they can ask you questions. You can even get orders for your product directly from the exposition or from the conference. You can get them from there. So associations and chambers of commerce also, by joining an association, by joining chambers of commerce, also you get to meet people, you get to network with people who can refer you, who can market you to others, and people can be like, oh, this person actually ships or exports these products, and we can buy it from the person. Then we have online means. Majorly, I break it down to three categories. When it comes to online, you can get buyers through communication platforms like WhatsApp and rest. Communication apps, usually the largest, or I would say the biggest ones, are WhatsApp, Telegram, WeChat, and Messenger also. Then you get through social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And then B2B platforms, business to business platforms, trade platforms like Alibaba, like India Mart, like like uh, like China Mart. You get all these kind of websites where you can actually trade commodities, where you can buy, where you can supply your commodities. And so what does this mean? This means that, okay, how do you use WhatsApp to source buyers? How do you use Telegram to source buyers? All these platforms, they have social groups. They have groups where you can join, where you can communicate, where you can try to get prospective buyers for your products, for what you've already planted on your farm that you want to harvest and process and package for export. Social media platforms, same way. On B2B platforms, you just have to create your account, and you can upload pictures, videos of commodities that you are selling. Now, most of the time, as entrepreneurs, as farmers, as people who are the brain behind the concept, we might not actually have that time to say that, okay, I'm managing all these things that that I've been mentioning yourself. So if you can't do that, the best thing to do is to employ. You can employ someone to do that for you. You can bring in a digital marketing person and let the person know that what you're expecting from him or her are the leads prospective clients from social platform, from social platform, from social platform, and you are paying the person a salary, and the person keeps working just on that alone. So you are free to monitor your farm, you are free to concentrate on other things, you are free, and uh, much leads as you get, the higher your export clients, the higher the prospect, the higher the probability that you get, a client. The higher the probability that you get a client. So within a month, 2 months, 3 months, you can have your own clients. You can get your own export clients. So fulfilling client order. Every importer, buyer, manufacturer has a specification that they need from you. So when an importer from another country is discussing with you, that they want to buy a particular commodity or something, there's a specification they are going to tell you that they want or that they need. And when they give you this specification, you must make sure that you do everything within your power to meet their specification. So specification are usually categorized under the size of maybe the produce or the harvest or whatever that they are trying to buy from you. Like for instance, if you look at cashew nut, if you eat cashew if you eat cashew very well, you know that the seed, the nut that comes with it varies in different sizes. Some are big, some are really big, and some are very tiny, some are very small. So the buyer can tell you that, okay, I want the nuts that are very big in size. And because of that, there are different names given to these sizes because of that. So it could be color. Maybe what the buyer wants to buy from you is season seed. There's white season seed, there's black season seed, you know. It could be cleanliness. So there's clean season seed, there's dirty season seed. So even for other commodities also, you can tell, oh, I want the cleaned one, I want the uncleaned one. So these are just parts of what we call specification. It could be chemical composition of the commodity of the products that the buyer will say, okay, I want so content or maybe so volume of oil in what I want to buy. Then you have to do quality tests, quality analysis to check if what you want to sell to that client actually has that chemical composition or not. Then add mixture. Add mixture is just like we're saying that these commodities has like impurities or other things that are added, but they are not needed by you. You know, so the client can tell that, okay, I don't want any other mixture to this commodity you want to send. I don't want it to be more than 2%. I don't want it to be more than 3%. If sometimes they also add impurities, that's okay, impurities up to 2% is acceptable. Anything above that is not acceptable. You know, so you have all these specifications come with your export contract when your client is actually turning to you. Others are quantity of what they want to buy, the packing, how you are going to pack it, how you are going to pack it. Is it going to be packed in 50-kilogram bags? Is it 50 kilogram? Is it 30-20 kilogram? Is it that maybe there will be 100, there will be 50? You know, all these things you need to understand. Then the packaging in the sense that are you packing it inside a carton? Is it going to be packaged inside a nylon? Is it a paper bag? Is it inside a sack? Is it, you know, so you need to understand the packaging method because there are different kinds of packaging. And when you now know the packaging method the buyer wants, then that's when you now also proceed to understand the packing, that is the weight, the scale, how it's going to be packed. Maybe it's 10 kg, 5 kg, 50 kg, 100 kg. So that's you trying to fulfill your client's order, trying to make sure that what your client order is what you deliver so that we won't be having a case of these Instagram vendor things that we are having all over the place that is always saying what I ordered for versus what I got, you know, and all that kind of thing. So the next slide is AfCFTA. AfCFTA means African Continental Free Trade Agreement. The mission of AfCFTA is to boost intra-African trade. You know, so that from Nigeria to Ghana, from Nigeria to South Africa, from South Africa to Tanzania, from Tanzania to Egypt, from Egypt to Ethiopia, from Ethiopia to Uganda, Uganda to Mali, from Mali to shells. You know, different countries in Africa can interact with themselves, can trade with themselves uh, without much hurdles, without much challenges. So the plan is actually to boost trade within African countries because, like, there are some things that are not expected to be requested from an African company that is trying to trade with another African country. Just like if I take a flight to Ghana now, I shouldn't be asked for a visa before I can be allowed to enter into the country. If I go to the closest countries to us, like Benin Republic, Niger, uh, um, Chad, yes. So, like these countries, if I go there, they are not supposed, because I can even enter them through land, if not even through flights now. Cameroon also just shares a border with us. So, this country, I should just be able to get there, and if I wish, I process my visa on arrival, and also I should be able to stay there without a visa too, since I have my Nigerian passport. So, you know, so African leaders have been looking at it that how can they boost trade among African nations so that if someone is sending goods from Nigeria to Ghana, Ghana is not requesting for documents like the United States will request from Nigeria, and all this. So to minimize all those kind of challenges and barriers, that's why the African Union actually brought about the AfCFTA Charter, and a lot of countries in Africa have actually signed that agreement. So as of June 2022, 54 AU member states have signed the AfCFTA agreement. The agreement hasn't actually come into full force because the framework has still been worked on. There are several challenges that it is facing currently from different parts of Africa. But one thing is sure that very soon the agreement is going to come into full play, full force. So, as a farmer that is farming in Nigeria, the most populous, the largest economy in Africa, want to be exporting to other African countries. Just around us alone, just neighboring us alone, we can count about 6, 7 countries. So by the time we take all of West Africa, East Africa, and Central Africa, that's a lot of countries that you can actually export to. And in all these countries also, there are Nigerians. So maybe when we are done focusing on all the parts of Nigeria and other, maybe later we'll still go in depth into after for Nigerians in AU member states, for Nigerians in Africa, in different parts of Africa, and how we can sell, market, and export to them. But it's also a huge market. That's where I'm going to. So sometimes it's not until you export to the US, to UK, to Canada, and all that, you can also just focus on African countries. On African countries. Like, for instance, there are lots of Nigerians in Kenya now that Nigerians in Kenya now has a large community that you can be the one servicing, supplying that community the Nigerian food, the Nigerian product, the Nigerian harvest. So the AfCFTA agreement is focused on trading goods, trading services, dispute settlement mechanism, custom and trade facilitation. Dispute settlement indicates that, okay, maybe there is anything happening between the buyer and the seller and it needs to be resolved and all that. So it's going to be easy, to settle such. Now, when the AfCFTA has come into full effect, the customs, regulations, custom laws and all that, it's also going to be easy to, to go through those process intra-Africa, the way it is actually supposed to be. Just like when you are in the EU, if you are exporting, if you are taking a product like maybe food products from one EU country to another EU country, it's very easy. But if you are taking it from a non-EU country, you have a lot of obstacles to pass to actually jump through, to walk through. So just that way also, that's what AfCFTA is bringing into the Africa economy, into the African continent. So that's that about it. Then we have digital marketing strategies for buyer engagement. Digital marketing strategies for buyer engagement. So like I said earlier, that when you are trying to get buyers to buy your product. It's a day-to-day job, it's a daily work. It's not, you have to set that structure up. And trust me, if you set the structure for your farm, your the a buyer sourcing department. So you can have a one-man buyer sourcing department in your company, just sourcing and getting, analyzing, different export contracts, getting prospective clients, prospective buyers for your farm product, and the person reports to you daily on it. So if the person is getting, like, let's say 100 or 50 leads, let me say 50 leads in a month, in that 50 leads, at least you should have one successful client to do business with. And that one successful client, the contract you could have with that person could run into hundreds of thousands of dollars if done well. So you just need to set that up. So setting up marketing structures for your farm, one, setting up the digital marketing pages, which is what a lot of farms do, but just that most of the time they don't target the international market. So you must learn how to target the international market, not just for local sales only, because sometimes when you start producing and all that, you also have lots of local markets around, lots of customers who wants to buy that product also, but that's not like the full aim. That's not where you are going. You sell to them, but you also make sure that for you to balance up on your revenue, you need to put in some international clients on your page, on your supply list, also to balance your income. So to design your communication packages, that is your product procure, your letter of specification, letter of offer, letter of intent, you need to have all these things uh, designed already so that you can send them out to prospective clients. You can daily, every day to prospective clients, and they can see if they can accept your offer. Then you have to create a day-to-day action plan around your B2B commerce platforms. So we have several B2B platforms. Even if you go to Alibaba.com alone, you will see a lot of people selling different kinds of commodities, agro commodities that you can work with, that you can market, that you can also upload from Nigeria and let people know how much you are selling it, and all that. So you have to have that kind of day-to-day action plan where the person who is managing that department on your behalf will go to all these platforms and start assessing the different opportunities that are there, and will be able to generate leads of prospective buyers, that wants to buy ginger, that wants to buy cashew nuts, that wants to buy this, that wants to buy that every day. So it's better to employ someone so like I said, that it's better to employ someone that will be focused on your digital B2B sales, so that the person will, help in analyzing export contracts and all that. So even though you have the final say over the contract, but at least the person will be the one at the initial phase of negotiation and pricing. So you have to also let the person understand the dynamics of the company and some mission statements and all that. I think this is the last slide. Okay, so that brings us to the end of Farm to Export 3. So if you missed the class, you can watch the recorded class on YouTube. When the WhatsApp group is opened this weekend, you can ask all your questions about the class. You can still register for Zero to Export, which will start on the 25th and end on the 1st of October. So thank you very much. See you in the next class, Farm to Export 4, where we'll be focusing and talking about the export opportunities in Southwest and Nigeria.